What is going on, everybody? Gabriel Jones here, giving you a drop of sun any chance I get. And welcome to a special video. It's that time of year again where I talk about each and every single entry for the Eurovision Song Contest. This year's contest is being held in Malmo after Loreen won in Liverpool with Tattoo, and I'm very interested to see what they're going to have this year. All the artists have been selected, each and every song has been released, and I'm here to talk about it. Today I'm going to be talking about all the countries competing in semi-final 1, how good I think their entries are, and whether I think they will qualify. I always like to think of this as the laid-back semi-final because there's a bunch of obvious qualifiers in this case, but I digress, we're going to have to talk about them anyway. But we shouldn't waste any more time, let's count down the 15 entries in semi-final 1 of Eurovision. Kicking off the lineup is the youngest contestant in this year's show, that being Silia Kapsis, with her song Liar, which is competing for Cyprus. She was born and raised in Sydney to Greek and Cypriot parents. She released her first track, Who Am I, in 2022 when she was just 16. I think that's when she penned the song, but she released it in 2022. She's worked with many different dance choreographers. She even had a chance to appear on the Jennifer Hudson show, which is pretty damn huge. And she got to work with Taboo of the Black Eyed Peas. I also learned that she has worked with Nickelodeon. She frequently appears on Nick News, which is pretty cool. A lot of her music has slick bass guitar work. It's danceable, it's fun, it's cute. And who knows, maybe someday she'll work with Ariana Grande. I mean, her friendship with Troye Sivan proves that she's already down with the Aussies. And then there's the song itself. The beat on Liar is a lot more intense than her other songs. It shows a good amount of vocal talent. It's similar to Break a Broken Heart in that it shows the singer triumphing over a rotten lover. Celia says it's about telling off fake people, but I would argue that it's clearly designed more as a breakup song. That's the vibe I get from it. The song could potentially appeal to many younger viewers, but whether it qualifies is a bit of a toss-up, in my opinion. Next up is Teya Dora with her song Ramonda, and that is going to be representing Serbia. Her full name is Teya Dora Pavlovska, and she was born in Bor in Yugoslavia. She studied a lot of music in Belgrade, and she took classes on vocal studies at Berklee College of Music in Boston. Wow, studying in America. And from the looks of it, she even had a class with Charlie Puth. Like, they literally shared a room together. That's insane. She's made a ton of songwriting contributions to Serbian artists, but it wouldn't be until 2019 when she released her own debut song, Dana Meni Ye. She recorded a few songs for the TV crime thriller South Wind and its sequel series, which appears to be pretty huge in Serbia. But then we had the big breakout song, Dize Num, which went viral on TikTok, appeared on Spotify's global charts, and garnered her over 1 million monthly viewers. Like, damn! When you watch the music video on YouTube, you'll find that it has over 79 million views. Like, damn her! From the looks of it, she seems to be more famous for her ballads than her dance tracks, and that will become very apparent with Serbia's national final. I remember watching that final and having a lot of fun with it. Zoria's Lik U Ogledalu was my top pick for PZE, but Ramonda was a close second, and ultimately I think Serbia made a good choice. A great choice, in fact. Ramonda had a wonderful build-up throughout its runtime. The keyboards at the beginning set off a dreary atmosphere. The orchestral section showcases the fury that escalates within Teya. And the climaxing with thunderous drums resembles a terrible storm. But most of all, I sincerely appreciate the symbolism going on here. The Ramonda flower is known for being very adaptable to harsh conditions and can be brought back to life with just a few drops of water. Named after the Serbian queen Natalia Obrenović, it's known as the phoenix flower, and it serves as a national symbol of Serbia, referring to the resurrection of the country after World War I. So this flower is very near and dear to their hearts. This is easily my favorite ballad of this year's contest. I know some people are worried that it won't qualify because it's in the second slot and it's famous for being the cursed slots, but it still has a great shot of going to the grand final. Like, I am 100% confident it's gonna make it. Up next, we have Silvester Belt with the song Luktelk, which is going to be competing for Lithuania. Born in Kaunas, he went to the University of Westminster in London where he studied commercial music performance. He won the reality competition I Am a Super Hit in 2017 and moved to Vilnius when he released his debut single, Noise. He also competed on the X Factor in Lithuania, but he got booted after the 4th week, unfortunately. I took the time to delve into his discography, and he seems to make a ton of downbeat electronic dance music. And that is no different from what Luktelk is presenting. The music for Eurovision LT was pretty decent. You could tell they had much bigger production values this year, like they got a bigger budget, so like more audience members, more room to perform on stage, like everything was big. Plus de Comet was a personal favorite of mine, and I can't get enough of Simple Joy. It's stuck in my brain. I think at one point the guy from Shower gave a shout out to The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. Like, I don't speak Lithuanian, but like, he just randomly gave that cartoon a shout out, and I was like, oh wow, I actually remember that from my childhood. I wonder why he talked about that. But to get back on track, Luktelk is much groovier than the rest of Silvester's catalog. He feels like he's dancing late at the club, and it's described as a song where people feel stuck in a loop, you know, not the Sarah Benici loop. But he's dreading the life that he's living, but he has to get up and keep on dancing, if you know what I mean. For some reason, whenever I hear the song, I think of The Matrix. Like, it's reminiscent of the club scene where Neo first meets Trinity, and she's like, I know why you sit at your computer, you know, you gotta follow the white rabbit. This one is definitely locked in for the grand final. It's a crowd favorite. And now, it's time to get even darker than before. We have Bambie Thug's Doomsday Blue, which is going to represent Ireland. They were born in Macroom, Cork, Ireland, and went to college to study dance, but eventually studied musical theater after breaking their arm. That does not sound fun. They've released their debut song, Birthday, in March 2021, where I believe it went viral on OnlyFans. I mean, that's a pretty strange place to sell your music, but whatever makes the money. They also came out with their debut EP, Cathexis, in October 2023. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Their music is very hypersexual, experimental, and pretty outrageous. And I had to make sure I wasn't watching these videos with company around because they were extremely racy. When it came to Eurosong, it was very exciting to watch them tally up all the points. I remember someone tweeting that the international jury score was an assassination attempt because they gave the boy band 12 points. Oh my god. One thing we can say is, thank Christ that the national jury swooped in for the rescue. I still remember the audience chanting, Bambie, Bambie, Bambie. Like, they were electric. They were like, yeah, we want Home Dog to be sent to Malmo. Bambie really got into it when they were performing Doomsday Blue. The abrupt tonal shift during the chorus is an earworm, and I sense that it's about being pissed that your lover was unfaithful, and you wish nothing but misery on their life. That's my best guess as to what the song meaning is. I mean, it's certainly better than Wild Youth's We Are One, which was not a strong contender for last year's show. But on that note, I think it's very poetic how the Irish delegation found themselves in a situation last year where they had to fire their creative director for transphobia. And then the following year, they submitted a non-binary artist to the big show. Like, that is actually very touching. I think I even saw Bambie Thug post a picture with the lead singer of Wild Youth, so you can tell that they are really vibing with each other. Yeah, I think its qualification chances are high, and it could finally end the drought for Ireland. Who knows? And now, we got the big dog going on. Alyona, and Jerry Heil's Teresa and Maria, which is competing for Ukraine. Alright, I'm gonna try to pronounce her whole name. Alyona Olehivna Savranenko. And she was born in Kapitanivka. I hope I'm saying that right. Please correct me if I'm wrong. One thing I was surprised to learn is that she actually worked as a kindergarten teacher for 4 years before beginning her music career in the mid-2000s. She released her debut song, Ribkey, in October 2018, and the next song following that, Halavi, reached 1 million views on YouTube. She was even recognized by Vogue magazine as Ukraine's most unlikely rap star. Like, that is high praise. Like, that is pretty huge. She also received the Public Choice Award at the Music Moves Europe Talent Awards, long title, in 2021. And you know what? I just remembered that I reacted to one of her songs before on my channel. It was her collab with Kalush Orchestra. It was gory. So technically, I've already had a taste of her music before this year's big show, which is actually pretty... And much like Kalush Orchestra, her music is well polished and can be indistinguishable from American rap. Like, I can see her and Kalush hanging out with, like, the likes of Future or Metro Boomin. And then there's the other half of the team, Jerry Heil, whose real name is Yana Shimeva, and she was born in Vasilkiv, Ukraine. She studied music at multiple institutions in Kiev, and this is a pretty fun fact. She created her stage name based on Jerry Mouse from Tom and Jerry. Heil came from an American surname she found online, and she insisted that she created the whole name as a joke, but just stuck with it throughout her whole career, which is pretty funny. Speaking of cartoon characters, I read on her Wikipedia page that she dubbed the voice for Rudy on Chalk Zone, that old Nickelodeon cartoon. I wasn't able to fact check it myself, but if anyone else can confirm that for me, I would very much appreciate that because I'm very confused. But anyway, she launched her YouTube channel in 2012 where she garnered her initial fame. It wasn't until 2019 where she dropped her debut album, Ya Yana. She's no stranger to the Vidbeer contest. She's performed twice at it before getting selected at last. She performed with Vegan in 2020, finishing in 6th place. And then there's When God Shut the Door in last year's contest, where she finished in 3rd. I remember her as the headphones girl who walked through the big arch, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember her. What I'm gathering from Jerry's music is that she seems to be very religious, and her music heavily reflects her real-world views. And I was actually surprised that Jerry and Alyona collaborated many times before this song. I remember going through their discography, and I counted 10 songs that they made together. I don't even think Drake and Future have recorded that many songs together. Overall, it was a pleasure to watch Vidbeer again over the 2 days that I watched it, mind you. I remember seeing how tired and exhausted everyone was to show up to the studio the next day because of the app crashing. That'll definitely be a lesson for next time. Jerry has soft and gorgeous vocals, and Alyona gives such a hardcore rap verse with an intense and articulate flow. The song is about how life can be a difficult and tumultuous journey, but you should keep your head held up because the ancestors before you also faced a ton of baggage, and through all the obstacles, they built themselves better lives. Like, this is an obvious qualifier. Obvious qualifier. Like, Ukraine has a perfect qualifying record. It ain't gonna stop here. Ukraine is just unbeatable when it comes to qualifications. Like, they are just a train trudging through the competition. Next up, we have Luna's The Tower, which is going to be competing for Poland. Her real name is Alexandra Gomez, and she was born in Warsaw. She learned the violin at a young age, and she studied arts at the University of Warsaw, and she even performed in children's choirs throughout 2010. She worked with the Kayaks record label on the My Name Is New project, which I'm pretty sure is like VH1's You Oughta Know artists project, and that's where she released her debut song. She ended up adopting the stage name Luna in 2020, and that's when she released her debut single, Luna, that year. And her sound took a shift where her music became more cosmic, you know? It makes sense considering that Luna is moon in Latin, so yeah, there you go. She saw her song Zigas receive critical acclaim and plenty of radio play. Her early work shows how classically trained she is, with the soft piano ballads, which are fit for ballrooms, and the theatrical feel. I listened to her song Zastiga multiple times on Apple Music. I even favorited it to my playlist. Like, that's how much I loved it. You can definitely hear the evolution in her sound over the last year. Like, the production is more meteoric, if you would say, and her style is a lot quirkier. But then came the big song, the Eurovision song, The Tower, which might have a simplistic message, but I jam with how Luna delivers it. She has stumbled many times throughout her life, going after a goal that seems unachievable. But even if she struggles to find light, there's no need to give up. Soon, she'll break the chain and construct a lasting tower. I would say the hyperpop really ties the whole tune together. It shows excitement and determination for her to reach her goal. If you ask me, TVP made a smart decision to do an internal selection this year. I know people are disappointed that Justina didn't get chosen, but Luna was the next best option. I would 100% take this over solo. Like, this is a massive upgrade for Poland. I'm not sure if it's a guaranteed qualifier, but I'm rooting for this one. And now, we got a major contestant on our hands. Baby Lasagna's Rim Tagi, which is competing for Croatia. His real name is Marko Purisic, and he was born in Umag, Croatia. Before, he actually played in the rock band Mantra from 2011 to 2016, and again from 2018 to 2022. That group actually competed for Dora in 2019, finishing in 4th place with 12 points. He also co-wrote for the German rock band Mono Inc., and their album was a massive success. Like, several of Baby Lasagna's songs became singles. It was pretty noticeable given the precise rhyme scheme. Like, he has his lyricism on point. It wasn't until October 2023 when he released his solo debut song, IG Boy, which is pretty comedic when you listen to it. The guy definitely knows his craft when it comes to metal rock. He adds satire to his music, particularly when talking about social media, and he brings a touch of techno into the mix also. And I didn't get anything different when listening to Rim Tagi. Like, it is so much fun to listen to. It's a fictional tale about a young boy leaving his village to take on the city. It's full of excitement and determination, and the techno instrumental break is so much fun. It's almost like he's experiencing city life by going to the nightclubs. And he wishes for his family to remain happy and to keep on dancing. I remember watching interviews with Baby Lasagna where he talks about how the song reflects a lot about immigration, which a lot of Croatians have to go through at some point in their lives. And in a lot of ways, it's bittersweet because he actually wrote this song about his friend leaving the country. But it is very pleasing to see him write about this with a lot of humor, and that's what I've already gotten from his music, his other songs. Like, no lie, this could earn Croatia their first ever win. Like, at the very least, it could earn them their biggest score to date. Like, even with stiff competition, this song has great momentum. And now we move on to Iceland, where the artist they selected for this year is Hera Björk, with her song Scared of Heights. She's the first of 2 returning contestants we have this year. She was born in Reykjavik, Iceland, appeared in television commercials as a kid, and released her debut album Ilmur af Jólan in 2000. She even participated in Dansk Melodi Grand Prix in 2009, becoming a runner-up. The year she represented Iceland was in 2010 in Oslo with her song Je ne sais quoi, finishing in 19th place. So from the sound of it, she must be a very beloved icon in Iceland. She competed in the Viña del Mar International Song Festival in Chile with Because You Can, winning the Best Song category. Her music sounds very angelic, decently mixed with the Europop. And then came the national final in Iceland. Another Songkeppnin, another year where my queen Sigga Ósk was robbed. Like, seriously, her whistle tone was something to marvel at. And I cannot believe she didn't even make it to the super final. Like, holy hell, Iceland, come on. I understand that Bashar Murad would have also been a great and meaningful pick. Well, at least the voting process was totally fair and there was no specific motive to bar him from going to Malmo, am I right? I mean, Scared of Heights shows that Hera knows her craft. Her lyricism is impressive, but the production I find to be pretty bland. Like, it's too similar to other pop songs out there. And, if I'm being honest, she relies on too much auto-tune in the audio version. Gotta be honest. It might qualify because older viewers are nostalgic for her previous appearance. I wouldn't count on it, though. There's many other stronger contestants in semifinal 1. One of those stronger contestants is Raiven with her song Veronika, which is competing for Slovenia. Her real name is Sarah Briški Kerman, and she was born in Brisis, Slovenia. One interesting thing I learned about Raiven is that she's classically trained as a harpist. She began studying the instrument at age 6 and won the Antonia Salieri International Harp Competition in Italy in 2013. Like, she has mastered that instrument to a high degree. And she's highly trained as an opera singer too. She studied opera at the Academy of Music in Ljubljana, graduating in 2018. And she earned a master's degree in solo singing in 2021. Like, interesting. She released her debut album, Magenta, in 2017, earning her an award for Record of the Year, which I can assume is the Slovenian equivalent of the Grammys. She sang at the Exit Festival in Novi Sad in 2019 to over 56,000 people. That is impressive. She actually competed to represent Slovenia 3 separate times in 2016, 2017, and 2019, coming up empty-handed each time. Her training in opera is truly noticeable, and you can tell she puts extra care into perfecting her pop tunes. And Raiven further showcases her talent for opera. I can imagine it playing with a big orchestra at a theater. Like, the imagery of water is immaculate, and you feel yourself sinking further and further as Raiven belts her notes. It's based on a woman named Veronika who was accused of witchcraft in her country. The song declares there's a magical being in all of us, and you should feel free to express yourself even against the wishes of others. Very meaningful. This is another lock-in for the grand final. For anyone who's looking for more artsy entries, this is up your alley. Now we got a pretty ridiculous entry on our hands. Windows 95 Man with his song No Rules. I gotta say it with emphasis. That is competing for Finland. The guy's name is Teemu Kesteri, and he was born in Espoo, Finland. He rose to fame by creating the character Milkali, which is largely featured on various apparel. And he works mostly as a DJ under the name Windows 95 Man. He studied photography at the Lahti Institute of Design, but went on to pursue visual arts, and boy did that pay off for him. Then we have the vocalist on the song, Henry Pispanen, and he is a famous voice actor, dubbing various characters from Paw Patrol, Miraculous Ladybug, and Big Hero 6. Like, the guy must be a very famous voice actor in his home country. And he was also the lead singer of Pasa, a band that he formed together with a few other people. When it comes to Windows 95 Man, his EDM mixes are very comedic, but also very freeing. You can tell that he's content with himself. And then there was UMK 2024, which was very fun to watch again. Karja's last hurrah as Finland's representative was truly special, with a bunch of people forming the human centipede. I do wish they could have given more points to Cyan Kicks. I was really feeling their entry, but, you know, I guess we can settle for fourth. No Rules captures the cheer and cheese of 90s Europop. Timu gets the crowd pumping, which is an acquired skill for a DJ. Henry provides sweeping vocals that elevate the song's message of freedom and self-expression, which is pretty cool. I know there's some fans who are struggling to really get into Windows 95 Man's sense of humor, which I can understand. People are calling this a definite non-qualifier, but it seems to be connecting with a few more listeners, so who knows? Maybe it'll actually pull through. And now we have our second returning contestant, that being Natalia Barbu with her song In the Middle, which is competing for Moldova. She was born in Balti, Moldovan SSR, USSR, and she worked with the jazz folk alternative band Trigon for a few years. Her song, which translates to My Angel, was a huge success in Romania. It topped the Romanian Top 100 for 11 weeks, and it was extensively covered by MTV Romania. I actually took the time to listen to that song, and it reminded me of so many soft pop ballads that got big during the 2000s here in the United States. Like, it reminded me of I'm Like a Bird by Nelly Furtado and Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson. But to get into her previous Eurovision appearance, she won the national selection for Moldova in 2007 with Fights. It qualified for the grand final in Helsinki, Finland, I believe, and it finished in 10th place with 109 points. I mean, a top 10 finish is always impressive. You gotta give that to Natalia. She had another hit song called I Said It's Sad in 2012, which reached #1 on the top 10 airplay in Moldova. And she was also named the sexiest woman alive in Moldova by Esquire one year, which, you know, I guess is a high honor. She's had quite the journey with her musical craft, jumping from soft pop to rock to reggae. This year I had some mixed feelings about Etapa Națională 2024. On one hand, I'm glad I got to enjoy it without any lagging issues. On the other hand, I felt like they could have chosen a different winner. Like, Catalina Solmak was right there. Like, she had the material. Like, damn, Moldova, you really did her dirty. You could have at least voted for her to finish in 3rd place, but you had to put her in 4th. Like, just missing out on the podium. Like, come on, guys. When it comes to In the Middle, it has a sweet sentiment being meant for her kids. I think it lacks a little bit of substance, though, relying too much on repetitive lyrics. Like, even the presentation of the performance doesn't really do anything to excite me. Like, I understand that they were probably just trying to be statues, but, like, them just standing in place playing violins, like, it just doesn't do anything for me visually. I strongly doubt this will advance past the semifinals, and if I'm being honest, Moldova might benefit from submitting a new face to the competition. You know, it would help if they showed off the vast amount of talent the country has to offer. I mean, I certainly hope that Catalina gives it another shot. Like, she knows how to make music. She has a bright future ahead in the industry. And then next up we have Fahree featuring Ilkan Dovlatov with Özünlə Apar, which is competing for Azerbaijan. There's not much background on Fahree, just that he studied law throughout college, but then pursued music, and the COVID pandemic helped him realize his true talent. A lot of his songs are like downbeat party jams, the kind you listen to when you have Xanax in your system. There's nothing special going on there. And the song Özünlə Apar is nothing really special. There's no neat tricks he's pulling off with it. Like, Ilkan can give some decent vocal melodies here and there, but that's about it. Hell, even the cover art is bland as hell. Like, it just repeats the same style as last year. 2 people standing seriously in front of a solid background. Like, at least Fade to Black was trying to convey something interesting. Just like Tell Me More, this is going to the bottom of my list. This next entry I'm actually pretty excited to talk about. It's Electric Fields with One Milkali, One Blood, and that is for Australia. Electric Fields is a duo consisting of Zachariah Fielding as the vocalist, and Michael Ross as the keyboardist and producer. Both members have separately tried out for the X Factor in Australia, Zachariah in 2011 and Michael in 2013. From the looks of it, neither of them got very far in the contest, but that doesn't really matter considering what eventually came. They officially got together in 2015, and they released their first EP, Inma, in 2016. They received an accolade for Best New Talent of the Year at the National Indigenous Music Awards, which honestly is very touching considering Zachariah's background. They tried out for Australia Decides in 2019 with the song 2000 and whatever, and they narrowly came in 2nd place, like so close. Both members have been adamant about expressing their queer identities, describing themselves as two feminine brothers. Fielding hails from Milkali in the APY lands of northwest South Australia, which is a rich background in Indigenous Australian music. And Ross has his own musical upbringing in Adelaide, which is really cool. Like, Zachariah is so in touch with his Indigenous heritage that they even filmed a documentary called A Voice from the Desert. It focuses on Zachariah Fielding's upbringing as an Indigenous Australian living in the southern region of the country. Honestly, I might want to check that out someday. If anyone knows where it's available, please let me know in the comments. When I listen to their music, it sounds very enlightening, giving listeners a space to connect with their true selves and cultural background. They have a real sense of spirituality, if you know what I mean. And I feel my soul being lifted when I play One Milkali. Like, the wubbing effects, Zachariah's voice is beautiful to listen to, probably one of my favorite vocalists of this year's show. And I love the cosmic tone. Like, the lyrics are hugely astronomical. Zach and Mickey feel their souls becoming one with the galaxy because they've elevated to a totally different new plane of self-assurance. I'm calling it now. One Milkali is the dark horse of semifinal 1. Like, fans aren't gelling with it right now, but come next month, it'll wow the audience. Like, this song will pull off a surprise qualification, mark my words. Next up is Iolanda with her song Grito, and that is going to be representing Portugal. Iolanda Costa was born in São Pedro, Portugal, and she moved to Pombal as a kid. She studied music at school, which was encouraged by her parents. She competed in multiple television gigs as a teenager, and she even studied songwriting at the British and Irish Modern Music. She auditioned for The Voice with Jessie J's Who You Are, but none of the judges turned their chairs for her. I'm not too familiar with the show's rules, but I'm pretty sure like they have to turn their chairs in order to advance. Yeah, so that's a shame for her. But as you can guess, that didn't stop her from pursuing her passion. She even co-wrote the song Mar no Fim by Balashi, which appeared in Festival de Canso. She debuted her first EP, Cura, in 2023, which was inspired by her experiences during the COVID pandemic. I actually took the time to listen to her songs, and her music is very easy on the ears, something to croon to, you know? Like, I'm glad she built her craft more over time and ultimately became a success. Like, Iolanda gives a stellar performance on Grito. Like, the thunderous drums add the right amount of intensity, the backing vocals blend with her so well. The lyrics confuse me a little bit. My best guess is it's about finding the strength to persevere even when the flame is at its lowest. Like, I'm pretty sure I got it right. When it comes to female ballads, my heart belongs to Ramonda this year, but I think this song is going to snake on by into the grand final. And lastly, we have Fighter by Tali, who is competing for Luxembourg this year. Tali Golurgant was born in Israel, but moved across South America before settling in Luxembourg. She released her debut album Lose You in 2021, and has even performed numerous shows in New York City after the COVID pandemic. But her talents do not stop there. She has also worked as an actress. She starred in an indie film called Agua, and she performed in musicals such as Fiddler on the Roof, Carrie, and Les Miserables. Speaking of musicals, Tali has cited Sarah Bareilles as one of her biggest influences on her sound, and it shows. Like, she sings those same dreamy, artsy ballads that Sarah is known for, softly singing about heartbreak and self-confidence, you know, which is what we've heard Sarah sing about on King of Anything and Brave. But Fighter is drastically different from her other songs. It relies on much heavier and flashier production. It feels more humorous. It focuses on how she has trouble figuring out her life as a girl in her early 20s. And I'm sure that can be relatable for many younger listeners. Though if I'm being honest, I'm not sure if this song is strong enough to earn a spot in the grand final. It just doesn't have any kick, if you know what I mean. Like, it just never picks up at any point. It sucks because Luxembourg is coming back from a 31-year absence, and I'm sure people are very eager to see them in the grand final again. In fact, they might earn some votes based on that fact alone. But I'm not entirely guaranteeing it, and it would stink if this year results in a non-qualification for them. So, there you have it. Those are all my thoughts on every single song in the first semifinal. There's an interesting variety this year, songs that are pretty silly, songs that are pretty dramatic, and songs that are pretty inspiring, honestly. Like, it's good to have a nice mix of everything here and there. Like, I have a pretty good idea of what's gonna make it into the grand final and what won't. Like, there are certain entries that have hype, certain entries that don't really have hype, you know, it's pretty damn clear. But I know people now want the moment of truth. They want to know my full-on ranking of semifinal 1. So, let's just get into it. Look at me, my screen is now small. But I digress. We have my full-on ranking here. At 15, I have Fahree featuring Ilkan Dovlatov. The song is just not interesting whatsoever. Like, I can't think of hardly any good things to say about it, so yeah. Then at 14, I have Natalia Barbu. Like, I'm sure people are excited to see her in the competition again, but I just don't really have anything to say about this song that really excites me too much. Silia Kapsis, I think, will have an audience for sure. Like, there seems to be some people really enjoying her, but I'm just not feeling Liar too much. Like, it just sounds like a bit of a bland pop tune, if I'm being honest. Tali has some vocal talent for sure with Fighter. But again, like, it's just not doing anything for me personally. Hera Björk has some talent for sure. And you can tell that she has really perfected her craft. But Scared of Heights, it's just not doing anything for me. It's just so standard. And then we have the qualifiers. So I'll be giving 1 point to Windows 95 Man. Like, his entry is pretty silly, but I think people are enjoying it well enough. And honestly, he brings a lot of positivity to the competition. 2 points are going to Bambie Thug. I really hope that Ireland does end their drought this year with a non-binary artist singing a song about witches. That could be really fun. My 3 points will go to Iolanda with Grito. I really love her vocal talent, and she really seems into it. Like, you can tell this song is special to her. My 4 points go to Raiven with Veronika. Like, she is very artsy with her presentation. She puts a lot of emotion into this song, and hopefully we get to see her do a harp solo at one point. 5 points go to Silvester Belt with Luktelk. It's definitely a vibe. It's definitely the type of club jam you would hear in The Matrix again. But yeah, he seems like a joy, and I hope he makes it. Electric Fields is getting my 6 points because I really love how accepting and open and diverse their song is. Like, people are saying it's not going to qualify. I'm more than confident it will. Like, just watch. Luna will get my 7 points with The Tower. I think she's very quirky, she's very cute, and I really love her energy. And of course, she's very brave, expressing how she truly feels about certain issues. So yeah, massive praise to Luna. Jerry, Heil, and Alyona are going to kick ass on that Mamo stage. Like, Teresa and Maria is going to earn them another qualification. They're getting my 8 points. I have no doubt they're going to be moving on there. Baby Lasagna will get my 10 points with Rim Tim Tagi Dim. Like, it's very fun, very energetic, it's very out there, and it's very weird, but I think people could use some weird. Like, he might end up being the Karya of this competition this year, and not just because he might finish in second, alright? And then Teya Dora will get my 12 points in the first semifinal with Ramonda. Like, it is beautiful. The build-up is just so magnificent. I love the message of hopefulness that the song ends on. Like, she is just gorgeous when she's on that PZE stage. Like, easily getting my 12 points. I'm hoping that she pulls through. But yeah, that is all my time for today. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Tune in next week when I give my thoughts on semifinal 2. And that one is going to be a lot more competitive. Like, that one I'm going to have plenty of thoughts to give on. But in the meantime, if you want to follow me on social media, be sure to check out my Blue Sky, my Twitter, my Twitch, and my TikTok. Links will be in the description. And that's where we're going to wrap up for today. My name is Gabriel Jones, and the sun may be setting, but I hope you're able to soak up those drops. Take care.